Yeah. The Big Daddy, Modern Times.
Yeah. It is the Big Daddy of 1936, for
It
sure.
is, yes.
The first Chaplin in a while.
Have you heard of Charlie Chaplin?
I have.
Yeah, this is the final appearance of the Tramp. This is the goodbye
Right,
to the
yeah.
Tramp.
Yeah, the last Tramp film from Charlie Chaplin.
Having not known anything about this movie before I saw it, I had always heard about Modern Times being the last movie with the Tramp and being a mostly silent movie from 1936. And I thought that like the title was commenting more on like feeling like you're caught in an earlier era. You're not catching up with modern times. You want to stay in the silent era. You want to stay the Tramp. You want to like modern times is too much for me. But that's not really what the movie's about.
I think it kind of is about that, but not very explicitly. Like, it's not really the main through line of it. It's not sort of the main kind of thematic idea that it seems like it's playing with.
Yeah. No, I mean, its idea of what modern times means is industrial capitalism.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look at all these gears, man. So many gears these days.
I mean, it's gears, but it's like, you know, instrumentalization of workers and like, you know, the depression being modern times of like, it's Charlie Chaplin has always had this kind of socialist bent to what he's doing, and this is maybe the most explicit.
Oh yeah, I would say definitely the most explicit.
I mean, yes, there's a point where he accidentally leads a communist rally.
He at multiple points accidentally becomes a like communist figurehead in this movie.
The whole premise of the Tramp character is sympathy for the poor and the working class. I mean, you know, Charlie Chaplin was hideously wealthy, but like he had a good head on his shoulders ideologically, I suppose.
Yeah. Another example of like movies from 1936 being like weirdly timely for now is I feel like this movie is just about Amazon.com. Like that was my like big note was like, oh, this movie is about Amazon factories. This movie is just about industrial factory work. And
it's about
soulless and terrible it is.
It's silent sorry to bother you.
Yeah. But yeah, it has this whole like very kind of like futurist, certainly aesthetic design to it, but then also just like it's very futuristic and sort of the technology it's depicting. There's like security cameras, which I don't really think existed in 1936.
Yeah, I think it's
at least not in the way that they're depicted here.
I don't think it's meant to be set in the future. I think it's meant to be set in the current day. It's just depicting a workplace that has like advanced so much in its kind of like surveillance apparatus nowadays that like there can be a giant screen in the bathroom with a camera saying you're pissing for too long, get back to work.
Yeah. Oh man, wouldn't it be terrible if there was an actual company that did that said you're pissing too long, get back to work? That was like named after some South American jungle or something. I think that was the moment I was like, oh, this movie's about Amazon. It's got a lot of kind of like Metropolis-y vibes in its kind of futurism.
Yeah, we got big gears, we got some Jacob's ladders, we got
it definitely feels like Charlie Chaplin watched Metropolis and it was like, yes, this, I want this.
Yeah, but not so like Art Deco sci-fi. It's still
right.
It still kind of lives in this world for sure. It's just like I think that like where it is kind of taking its flights of fancy of you know, visual depiction of high technology, it's really just kind of trying to like emphasize this like, you know, this overbearing and, you know, you are a cog in the machine and you will literally become a cog, industrial capitalism.
But I think both this and Metropolis are they're literalizing that, where it's like, yeah, factory workers are becoming literal pieces of machinery and when they break, they just get thrown away.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most Marxist thing about this movie, probably, is like talking about how workers are getting treated like machines.
Yeah.
one of the kind of most famous images from this movie, apart from the most famous image of this movie, which is Charlie Chaplin inside of Gears. But the second most famous image
Which happens
is
pretty quick.
yeah. The second most famous image is, the tramp starts out in this factory, the steel factory, or like steel mill, and some people approach his panopticon boss and say, "Hey, do you like worker productivity? Because we have a bargain for you, so you can stop having those pesky lunch breaks. We have invented a machine to shovel food into your workers' mouths, so they have no excuse to take a lunch break." And the machine immediately fails in hilarious ways, and and
it's slapping him in the face and shoving sandwiches in his eye and all that fun stuff.
As food machines in movies do.
I think this movie has a lot of, I can see a lot of the influence this movie had on more recent filmmakers, and like I think there's a lot of like Wes Anderson energy in this movie.
Huh. How do you mean?
I think just in the way in which it's so meticulously designed. Like I think more so than any other Charlie Chaplin film that we've watched, this one is like very designed. Like it is sets, and it is like very intricate sets that like have very specific aesthetic choices in it. Some of the sets are massive and like very, I don't know, like kind of like storybook or like toy house, dollhouse kind of thing. And then I mean Pee Wee Herman takes a lot from a lot of like early like silent comedy stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think that the whole kind of like Rube Goldberg machine stuff has been around since like the 1910s. Like tons of silent movies have played with that kind of thing. It's just a great visual gag.
The what is it, the automatic butcher or whatever that was,
hey, there you go, that's like 1900.
That was 1896, wasn't it?
There you go. Yeah, that was very early, so good point. And then I think Jacques Tati, who I've only ever seen Playtime, but I think that too, of sort of like the workplace being this like weird sort of like machine world and like technology that is like brand new but feels kind of useless, and like why is this a thing? I can see a lot of I possible kind of like lineage between this movie and Playtime. But right, so the tramp gets kicked out of his job because he like attacked another worker because he went wrench crazy. He was like so caught up in his like wrench routine.
He's basically an industrial nipple twister, and then he goes around.
That's a good episode title.
And then he goes around. He gets so stuck in his motion of taking his wrenches and twisting things that he must twist everything, including somebody's nipples. Yeah, it's very silly. It's kind of funny. We're talking about this movie first as something that, like, I don't know, as like a philosophical thing, which it's probably the most theming heavy of any of his movies that we've seen.
Yeah, it's pretty like clear what he's trying to kind of talk about in this movie, I guess.
Yeah. But it also has plenty of silly stuff, like
it's also like incredibly
nipple
goofy nipple twisting, and it is full to the brim with just like goofy Chaplin-esque physical comedy.
It's a Chaplin-esque.
Yeah. I kind of feel like Twin Peaks is slightly Lynchian. But so he
Chaplin-esque 1. Chaplin-esque 2.
First they send him to like the mental hospital. And then he gets out, and while he's like walking the streets, he becomes an accidental communist. And then like the cops show up to like strike break or whatever, and he gets arrested despite not, he just picked up a flag by accident. And so now he's in jail. We get a nice long section of like jail humor.
Yeah. Including yet another thing that I can't believe that people say anything. I can't believe that people say anything about pre-code, post-code, because we're getting yet another silent comedian cocaine joke.
Yeah. Nose powder, excuse me. Nose powder.
Yeah, there's someone who smuggles in some nose powder. He puts it inside of a salt shaker to hide it while he gets searched.
And that rascally tramp, he's shaking that salt shaker all over his food and getting real hyper.
It does just get, yeah, it's a really funny moment where, he is very much oversalting his food.
It's like
And you're
that
like, oh
feels
no,
like,
Charlie, that's cocaine.
that feels like something from like an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
Of
right.
just like, oh no, there's cocaine in the salt shaker. Ooh, it's going on his toast now.
It's handled very well in this. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's good, but it's like it's so silly.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't feel old timey, I guess. Like it feels like
yeah.
it's unexpected to see them this directly make jokes about cocaine.
Yes. This would be that in and of itself
The
would
difference
push a
pre
movie.
and post code is a pre-code movie would say cocaine, I think.
I guess, yeah. But even like old Harold Lloyd movies, it's like it didn't explicitly always say cocaine, but
I thought it did in was it Get Out and Get Under?
I think so, yeah.
I thought that there was just a thing of like
Maybe.
he just picks up a thing that says cocaine on it, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering.
He puts a bunch of salt on his food, and he takes a bite, and he goes, "Damn, this food's good." And then immediately starts shaking tons of salt on it, eating lots of the food, and
So silly.
and he starts bouncing around all over the place. Again, another thing that feels like it should be from a Seth Rogen, like a drug movie from 2012 or something, is that Charlie Chaplin does so much cocaine that he can dodge bullets. Like that does not belong in a movie from 100 years ago. That belongs in a movie from now.
Well, see, this is what people don't know about old movies. Is they're cool actually. They have cocaine in them.
Yeah. Everyone who does cocaine is cool.
I did think it was funny how all like the convicts in this movie are just wearing like lots of denim. I'm like, convicts 1930s just dress how like modern Brooklynites dress now. Like if you were to take the exact prison outfits from this movie and just like walk through Park Slope, you'd be a very fashionable person.
Wow. Huh. I guess I haven't been to Park Slope recently enough.
Full of denim, just lousy with denim.
That's another episode title.
Lousy with denim. But he like gets out of prison for being a model prison. He like stops a prison escape again, like kind of accidentally.
Yeah.
He like gets taken up to like the warden's office, and there's a lot of sound throughout this movie. There's not a lot of dialogue. There's a bit of dialogue, but like not a lot of sync sound. There's plenty of sound effects and like sound jokes.
Yeah. It takes City Lights to the next level.
Right. There's joke where he's in like the waiting room outside the warden's office, and he's got a growling stomach that's very loud. That feels kind of like a City Lights joke, where it's like this is a joke that is reliant on sound but isn't dialogue driven.
Yeah. But there is some dialogue like early in the movie. I feel like like the evil boss is like speaking to people over his projection screen. And yeah, it does feel in the beginning of the movie like the sound is kind of representing. I mean, I guess I'm kind of going back on what I said earlier, because it does. This is getting way off topic from what we were just talking about. But the people who introduced the feeding machine, they introduce themselves with a talking machine, right? Like they press play on a little recorder to give their presentation about the eating, about the horrific capitalist force feeding machine. And so they're kind of like drawing this comparison in the movie between talking, the talking technology, and evil technology that's ruining everything.
Yeah. These talkies, they're ruining pictures. It does kind of feel like Chaplin is definitely the most vocal person who is like, I don't like talking in movies, and I refuse to put it in there.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I'm going to get into more heavily in a second. The back half of this movie is kind of like not unrelated from the first half. This movie is very its plot is very kind of like scatterbrained. It's just like, and then a bunch of stuff happens.
Yeah. Classic silent comedy.
There's like a whole section where he's working as the night watchman in a department store, which has another like very famous gag in it where he's on roller skates and he's roller skating right next to a giant hole, a drop off, and it looks like he's like skating right up to a ledge, and it was done with optical effects and like
It's like a
I don't
matte
know if
painting.
I don't know if it was technically a matte painting, but yeah, it was like forced perspective painting on glass, I think.
Yeah,
And
I
which
mean, it works really well. I was like kind of gasping when when he got up to the edge.
it looks pretty much flawless. Like it is, even knowing kind of how it was done ahead of time, I was still just like,
Because he's blindfolded while he's doing it too.
right. It feels like it's a very like Harold Lloyd esque thing. Like I feel like Harold Lloyd is really the really pushing the kind of like almost falling jokes. But like that whole section is like full of great gags. There's like the whole thing with the escalator is really good, and it's also in this section where the kind of like the female lead of the movie is introduced, who I don't think is ever given a name.
Her name's Ellen.
Okay, I don't know if that was ever once named in the film, but a fairly, I think, kind of typical like Chaplin female lead character.
Yeah.
But she's very good in this. I forget who the actor is who plays her. I don't think I wrote it down.
Paulette Goddard.
Paulette Goddard does a lot of like infuses a lot of personality into a what could have been, I think, a very underwritten character.
Yeah, I think that she, adds this kind of like scrappiness to the character. Like it's like a kind of resourceful, underdog basically, who's living on the margins, but also like she's very generous to the people around her. She's trying to support like the other homeless people, that kind of thing.
And yeah, I don't really know how much I buy into the like romantic plot of this movie. I don't really think that her and Charlie Chaplin have a lot of like romantic chemistry. It doesn't help that Charlie Chaplin is like 20 years older than her, but whatever. I'm making that number up, but it's like
I'm looking at it right now, and he's 21 years older than her.
Oh, excuse me. I was actually a little under. They kind of because they're both like on the run from the cops somewhat, and they're both trying to kind of like eke out life without having to like work for the man. Or like they do want to work, but it's like they're every time they try to like get a leg up, through circumstance, they get like chased by the cops. And so they move into like an old shack on the outskirts of town, which I was like, is this the same shack from the Gold Rush? Like, is it literally the same set?
To me, so a lot of this movie felt like I'm gonna revisit some of my greatest hits as the Tramp, right? Like that skating scene seemed to be like a bit of a callback to the rink, and and this seems to be a callback to the Gold Rush. Like it's like I'm saying goodbye to this character by like revisiting some of my greatest moments here, and this I feel like that felt deliberate.
Yeah.
By the way, I was to put it in another worse context. This movie is the goodbye to the Tramp character, and Paulette Goddard was born 4 years before the Tramp debuted. She was 4 years old when Charlie started playing the Tramp.
Thankfully, it doesn't ever get like creepy in a way that some other early Chaplin movies can, if you know the full context behind like who the people are in the scenes.
Yeah, I think that like the Tramp to him is like it's like this timeless clown character, and it's like he has graduated some of his other leading ladies because like he felt like the Tramp should be with kind of a young ingenue type, but like there's a lot of bad sexist stuff that goes into this kind of thought process, but I get it in a way, right? Like I don't necessarily like agree with it, but I understand like where he's coming from, where it's like the Tramp is not him, it is like him, the 45-year-old man or whatever. It's like the Tramp is like an iconic just being, right? So the Tramp likes ladies. So
but I think like there are some of his earlier movies that are like have things in them that are uncomfortable to watch, whereas this one I don't think that. I think this movie
it's fine,
more or less succeeds in being a just like innocent, sweet movie.
there are worse age gaps today. It doesn't really
Yeah.
change. Yeah.
But so then it's like the tramp's trying to get different jobs. He like goes back to the factory, and we get more factory gags. There's a bit where a pocket watch gets flattened, and there's like a cardboard cutout, like completely like paper thin flat pocket watch
Yeah.
that's enormous because it's been flattened out. Ellen gets job at a singing cafe where like all the wait staff have to sing. And then she gets the tramp a job at that same place. But oh, what's this? He can't sing. Oh no.
He no words come out of his mouth.
Which at first I was like, oh, that's very deliberate. It's like, oh no, like the tramp can't sing because like he doesn't have a voice. But then
He's a real Gordon Freeman type.
Right. But then he sings in what? In French or Italian?
It is a garbled language that sounds like French, Italian, and some other things, but it's not actually any real words.
So it's right. He can't sing in English anyway. He can sing in a made-up European language.
I don't know. We should talk about that choice. It's an interesting choice.
It feels like a very deliberate choice.
But like even to, have the tramp talk at all, right?
It also I don't think is. It might be his voice, but it's definitely not like recorded sync sound. Like
no,
it was definitely
I don't think so.
It's definitely lip synced.
This movie is thinking about sound and silent movies. It's thinking about the tramp as this and City Lights, I believe, were both originally filmed like as attempts to be actual talkies. And he found, at least with City Lights, that like it just did not work with the tramp. Like he felt like he must be a silent character. It just didn't make sense.
This is the closest the tramp ever gets to speaking, is he gets to sing a song.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that's an interesting decision that honestly, like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, this is the goodbye to this silent character. Like, why not just keep him silent the entire time? Why? Yeah. It was a stunning scene to watch the tramp sing. It was weird because we have been for over 20 years watching the tramp not make any noise. So it was interesting in and of itself, but I was like, I'm not sure like what it's doing, and whether it might have been better not done.
Yeah.
The fact that it was done, I think it's like another kind of, it's a fitting choice that it's like he's not saying anything,
right? Yeah.
He's saying gibberish instead of
he's vocalizing
words.
But he's not really saying anything.
Yeah, it just felt like a small betrayal, I think.
Yeah, I don't know it, right? Because at first when it's like, oh no, he's being asked to sing and he can't, I was like, here we go, this is good. He can't sing because he's a silent character.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh well, all right, it's kind of splitting the difference a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the point was.
I think that it's to get a laugh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that maybe we're thinking about it more than he ever did. I don't know.
I don't know. It took 5 years between movies. Yeah, he had time.
True. There was some really funny jokes in this section, like him trying to get the food to the guy, and he keeps getting like pushed away by the dancing crowd.
Some classic like restaurant door jokes, like we've seen with Keaton and Arbuckle.
Restaurant door jokes are so good, and they're evergreen. They're always funny. It was very funny watching this after having watched The Bear.
The Bear. You didn't say corner.
Yeah. Pretty much. And then the cops show up and try to arrest them, and they have to run away. And Charlie Chaplin knocks over every single chair, like as he's being chased. He's just like throwing chairs behind him. Very good. And it ends on a very kind of classical Chaplin-esque ending of him kind of like walking off into the distance, but he's got a lady with him this time. So it's sort of like this final image of the tramp is him, as he's done in a bunch of other movies, like walking off away from camera into the distance, but he has a friend now.
He's finally found someone to walk with him.
Right, he's finally made a friend.
He's done being a kind of a Ronin type.
Yeah. Oh, Ronin. Oh man, I love the idea of, it's like, Charlie Chaplin's the tramp, a real Ronin type.
Chaplin-esque. He I mean, I could really imagine a version of Yojimbo with the Tramp. I think that could really work.
Oh my god. I want to like make a sketch of that now. That sounds very funny.
Like, you could totally play Yojimbo as a comedy.
You absolutely could. Yeah, there's two warring gangs, and like there's the Tramp in the middle. And
Like,
he's
yeah,
"Whoa!"
Bumble.
I'm kind of surprised that wasn't a movie that Chaplin ever made. That that might be more of a Keaton thing. I feel like there is a Keaton movie that is that.
Yeah, that one that like where it's like the West Virginian
Oh yeah,
rival
Our Hospitality?
clans. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Our Hospitality. You have, right?
yeah. I would not compare it to Yojimbo, but I guess in a sense they're similar. So to get into the fact that this is a largely silent movie
Mm-hmm.
made in 1936,
Mm-hmm.
this does feel like this might be the last time someone made a silent movie. Like, even in 1936, this is like kind of a throwback movie. It is like
Yeah.
a distinctly unmodern movie that is like doing a thing that movies don't do anymore.
Yeah, it's like making a 2D movie now.
Did James Cameron just walk in? But it does still feel like this might be the last time someone made a silent movie just because they wanted to and not because it was like... This movie isn't really like a pastiche of a bygone era necessarily, even though it is a kind of a throwbacky movie. It does feel like anytime someone made a silent movie after this, it is a like... Not necessarily a parody, but it is a like kind of reverential thing of like we're looking back on the early days of Hollywood, the early days of film, and we're making a silent film,
right?
Whereas this is just like Charlie Chaplin was like, fuck it, I still want to have this movie mostly just be silent because I can and because that's how I like to make movies.
Yeah.
And it's like it's made by people who made silent movies, sort of transitioning out of it, but it's still like this feels like, even though it isn't technically a silent movie, there is talking in it, there is sound in it. It's kind of like the last thing I could ever describe as like a real silent movie.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
even though it isn't that, like by technicality.
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing some people who perform music for silent movies talking about whether they thought that City Lights counted, and to them, which I think is interesting to like these musicians whose career is scoring silent movies, they don't consider Modern Times and City Lights and Sunrise to be silent movies, because to them, the thing that makes a silent movie is the ability to create your own score to it. Which I think is, you know, it's an interesting distinction, right? Like where this is like using some of the kind of, using like a lot of the kind of aspects of silent movies, but like something that like kind of proposing a fundamental idea of what a silent movie is being something that specifically does not have a specific score. Rather than just a certain filmmaking technique. That this is maybe like the last American movie to like use silent movie techniques for a long time, I suppose. If we want to be agnostic to whatever our definition of silent movie is.
Well, it is. It's one of the. It's like you think it's something that is easily definable, and once you get into it, it's a lot harder to pin down.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes me think of. I just thought of right now a movie that came out last year called No One Will Save You, which is a like home/alien invasion movie, and there's no dialogue in the whole movie. It is, I mean, it's a sound film. Like there's lots of sounds in it, but there is no spoken dialogue in the whole thing. So it's like, is that a silent movie? There's less talking in that than there is in this.
Or like there's some like animated stuff that kind of counts, like the Red Turtle, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Is it simply no talking, or
which I don't really think it is, and I do think that like the like synchronized soundtrack is a pretty clear-cut distinction of like, is it a truly silent film if it has a like definitive soundtrack that if you take that away, it's not really the same movie.
Yeah.
as opposed to anything earlier where it is like the music is what you put over it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what's my analogy here?
What is it like?
It's like silent movies are an egg, and and these movies are like an egg product. They're something that resembles an egg. What's the other food? There's another food that it's like there's like a real version of it, and then there's like cheese product.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Silent movies are like eggs, and sound movies are like cheese, is what you're saying. Together, they are an omelet.
I'm saying that Modern Times is the spray cheese of silent movies.
It resembles a silent movie, but it isn't technically a silent movie.
Yes, that's my metaphor.
Yeah. No, I actually do think that is a fairly accurate description and apt of what this movie is. Yeah.
Were you gonna say anything else about the silent sound aspects? I feel like I kind of took you on another train here.
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's interesting that this does feel like a real kind of like button on the like silent movie era. Like it is.
Yeah.
We were definitively past the silent movie era. That is done.
Yeah.
But this is this like one last like movie that is sort of luxuriating in what silent movies kind of used to be for one last time before it's all gone.
Yeah. Silent movies were existing for longer in other countries. This is 1936 is the year that like Yasujiro Ozu made his first sound movie, his first talkie. So he and other Japanese directors were making silent movies up until this point, and maybe past this point, I'm not sure. And I'm sure in like less developed countries that still had film industries, like they're probably the transition was probably slower as well. But yeah. At least for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Up until, I don't know, Mel Brooks made silent movie.
Right. Yeah, it's like the next thing I can think of that is a like deliberate sort of like, silent movie thing. Although even that I think has tons of sound in it, like is not a silent movie at all. But unless we got anything else to say about Modern Times, I think it's time to move on to another film about looking into the future.